Alright, what's up? Arthur here, and welcome to a new Black Ops 3 video. In fact, welcome to a new Black Ops 3 Best Class Setup video. And of course, as you can tell by the title, in this one, we're gonna take a look at the VMP. Now, for those who don't know, this is easily my favorite SMG in this game at the moment. It might even be my favorite gun. To be fair, I really like the M87 and the ICI as well, but hey, it's one of my favorite weapons. It's super deadly at close range. However, a little bit of a big downside. I know, that was a bit of a contradiction. This gun does kick like a mule, so it's not too great at medium to long range. In fact, it is kinda usable at medium range, but when it comes down to long range situations, you should probably just get the heck out of those. Just putting that out there. Anyway, so the class setup I put together for today's video is actually a bit of a stealthy setup. Like I said, this gun works best at close range, so in this case, a stealthy approach is definitely a pretty good one. So with that said, for starters, we first off have the suppressor. Obviously, the suppressor is going to make sure that you do not show up on the minimap when you fire your weapon. Pretty useful if I say so myself. Next up, as always, the quick draw grip. Now, the quick draw grip is going to allow you to zoom in a little bit faster, which basically makes it a little bit easier for you to snap on target. And of course, considering this is Call of Duty, if you manage to hit your opponent before he hits you, you're most likely going to win that gunfight. So that is why the quick draw grip will always be, and has always been, one of my go-to attachments. And then finally, we have the regular grip, which of course is going to reduce your recoil by a little bit. As far as I know, it's 12.5%, but basically, that makes this gun a little bit more usable at medium range. Of course, once again, do not challenge anyone at long range, you are bound to die. That's pretty much like committing suicide. Don't do that, but this gun can be used at medium range, and the grip will help you out with that. And then finally, we've got a bunch of perks. First, of course, from wildcards as well. Primary gunfighter is necessary, and then also perk 3 greets. Anyway, after that, for perk 1, we have Ghost. Now, Ghost in this game is exactly the same as Ghost in Black Ops 2. It basically makes sure you don't get spotted by UAVs as long as you're moving, planting, or defusing a bomb, or of course, using a score streak. So in this case, if you've got the Ghost perk on, you can just safely hop into your Talon, take out a load of people without anyone noticing where you're at on the minimap. Anyway, after that, as always, we have Hardwired. Hardwired is my go-to perk in this game. This one is super useful. Honestly, I would recommend you to use this one 100% of the time. It'll save you a lot of heartache. Anyway, this one for starters makes sure that you're immune to counter UAVs, power cores, EMP grenades, and smoke screens. It also makes sure that you don't trigger trip mines, shock charges, and some 4 alarms. And then on top of that, it also reduces the effects of Tracker, and it completely annihilates the effects of Sixth Sense, so this one is definitely pretty good. And then finally, we have Blast Suppressor and also Dead Silence. First off, Blast Suppressor makes sure your enemies don't notice you when you use your thrusters, and it also silences your thrusters, making it even harder for your opponents to pinpoint where you're at. And then finally, we have Dead Silence, which actually simply silences your footsteps. That's all it does. Basically, in Black Ops 3, it is really easy to silent whore, especially if you've got a proper headset, especially if you use the perk Awareness, and Dead Silence pretty much counters that. Not by a little bit, but it counters that entirely. Unless you're right next to someone, they won't be able to hear your footsteps. So this one is definitely pretty good, especially if you want to run around their spawn, especially want to sneak up on people. So this one is definitely pretty good as well. And then finally, for my score streaks, in this case, I was using the UAV, the counter UAV, and then finally the Hater, a non-lethal setup for a chase. Normally speaking, I always use something like the Lightning Strike, the Hellstorm, the Sentry, the Wraith, you name it. But for the past few days, I've been trying to get a nuclear. To be fair, I'm not too great at this game, and that's of course a bit of an understatement. I'm not that good. Obviously, I'm a whole lot better at Black Ops 2, but that doesn't stop me from trying my ass off. One day, I'll get a nuclear. And when I do, I'll make sure to post a video about it. Anyway, that's of course it for today's setup. If you've got a pretty solid VMP setup, then definitely be sure to share that one in the comments for others to try out. If you enjoyed this video, some support, a like rating would be very much appreciated. If not, that's cool. Of course, if you want to, you can also follow me on Twitter, or Facebook, or Instagram. You can find all those links in the description. As always, if there's a certain video you'd like to see from me in the near future, then definitely let me know in the comments down below. And then finally, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for the continued support. And I'll catch you in the next one. Take it easy.